Youth participation in the upcoming elections will be a key focus of the IEC's communication strategy. And for more on the Commission's launch campaign in Midrand, let's cross live to SABC News Reporter Natasha Phiri. Natasha, good morning to you. So talk to us about what is planned for today.
Well, very good morning to you, Leanne, and of course to our morning live viewers. Indeed, the IEC at 10 a.m. will actually be launching its campaign here for the national and provincial elections that are set to take place next year. Of course, this is a watershed one, Leanne, because you would remember that 2020 historic constitutional judgment that said and that permitted independents to actually contest in next year's elections. So since the history and the democracy of this country, independent candidates will get an opportunity to contest in next year's elections. Of course, the IEC will also be, unveiling its communication campaign and its timeline towards next year's elections. Just a reminder to South Africans who don't know that the first voter registration weekend will be happening in about 3 weeks' time on the 18th and the 19th of November. And of course, a second registration weekend will be announced next year, closer to the times of the elections, whether it will take place in May, in between, the marches of May and August. Of course, they'll also be unveiling, requirements for those who are eligible to actually register and to vote. And just for those who are seeking clarity around that, if you are the age of 16 years old, yes, you can register to vote, but of course, you can only vote when you are 18 years old. Just last week, we attended an IEC training, and the IEC's deputy chief electoral officer, of course, in that package, Mr. Shiburi, had also indicated, Ilian, that in terms of voter registration, online registrations, up to close to 1 million people have actually registered to vote online. In terms of the voters' roll, currently sitting in those numbers as of the 19th of September, over 26 million people are actually on, that voters' roll. Of course, and in our presence, we expected to be joined by various leaders of various political parties that will be coming out here. And of course, for those who don't know, that this year's or next year's ballot paper will be quite different. We have 3 ballots. Of course, you'll have the national ballots. Only political parties will actually be appearing on there. And the regional ballot is political parties, and of course, the various independent candidates, and of course, the provincial ballot as well, where you'll have the political parties and independent candidates. So it should be really an interesting one, as for the first time in the history of this country, there will be independent candidates. But I mean, you raise a pertinent issue, something that you actually spoke about earlier on, something we actually featured in our package, is the issue around, youth, the youth coming out in their numbers to actually vote. You would remember that the last elections in 2021, you had 26.2 million people on the voters' roll, but unfortunately, only 12 million people came out in their numbers to come vote. And this is something that the IEC seeks to challenge. I mean, it's not only just a South African phenomenon, but of course, it's a global phenomenon. When we attended the Association of the World Electoral Bodies, of which the IEC is actually the chair, last year, it was said that there's something called democratic backsliding, where you find that a lot of young people don't go out in their numbers to actually vote because they don't resonate and they don't have faith. There's a certain mistrust with them and their politicians. And this is what the IEC is seeking to address, that challenge throughout its campaign, of course, leading up to the elections. But also the IEC has called on various political parties to ensure that they rally on the youth of this country to come out in their numbers to actually go vote.